Hello and welcome to Press TV's Top 5. A fourth day of talks on Iran's nuclear energy program is underway between Iran and the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, plus Germany. 4 ministers of the United States, Russia, China, France, Britain and Germany have joined the negotiations. Bilateral and trilateral meetings have been held between the top diplomats. They are expected to narrow the remaining gaps and finalize a nuclear deal with Iran, which fell through in the last round of talks due to the French opposition. Iran says 2 or 3 points of differences have remained in the talks. According to the Russian foreign minister, for the first time in many years, the 5+1 group and Iran have found a real opportunity to come to an agreement. The Iranian deputy foreign minister Abbas Araghchi, however, expressed doubt about reaching an agreement on Saturday. Let's find out more. Homa Leski is in Geneva, and she joined us right now. Well, Homa, we spoke just an hour ago, but tell us any updates and any new developments at this point?
Well, let's give you all the latest information. Up until now, we know that the meeting which has been taking place between Catherine Ashton and the foreign ministers of the E3+3 is continuing. We've not heard any news indicating that that session has ended, and that session, as I said, coming after very intensive negotiations between Catherine Ashton and Mr. Zarif, as well as US Secretary of State John Kerry. That trilateral meeting was seen as very significant. We're still not sure whether it's been a good session, whether any kind of result has been achieved, but already speculations are high. I'm hearing, according to some sources, Iran has been suggesting that maybe an accord, so to speak, cannot be reached on Saturday. That, of course, is not official yet. I'm just quoting sources and reports that I'm hearing. But again, why is an accord so hard to achieve? We know that sanctions are being discussed. We know that enrichment is being discussed, and the Arak heavy water production plant is also reportedly being discussed. Enrichment is the most important aspects of the talks. The Iranian negotiators have been telling us time and again that the most difficult part of the discussions has been about enrichment. And now we're hearing that with John Kerry's arrival, a lot is being said also about how much the United States, which has imposed unilateral sanctions on Iran, is willing to reduce or ease the sanctions in return for the confidence-building measures that Iran has promised to take. And those confidence-building measures include, Iran says, negotiating the 20% level enrichment, allowing further inspections of its nuclear sites. But it's not going to, it says, stop uranium enrichment. It's going to continue enrichment on its soil, and it's not going to send any nuclear material abroad.
And Homa, are you getting a sense that there's any possibility for these talks to continue through till tomorrow?
Well, right now we've just gotten some reports suggesting that US Secretary of State John Kerry is about to leave Geneva for London concerning talks on Syria and the Middle East issues. So that would suggest that maybe, these talks are going to end tonight on Saturday. They may extend into the night. Last night we saw bilateral talks between Catherine Ashton and Zarif continue into the night. We might see more negotiations involving the foreign ministers and the Iranian delegation continue. But because we're getting news that John Kerry himself, for instance, is going to leave for London, that might suggest that we actually could reach some kind of a conclusion. Now, that would not necessarily mean a deal reached or any agreement reached, but we might see the two sides come out and tell reporters what stage they are at, in these talks, whether a deal is possible, whether we're going to see talks resume at a later date, or anything else.
Thank you so much for that. Homa Leski there talking to us from Geneva.